Congrats! We've made it to the last video in the Getting Started with Softr series. The last step in our checklist is to style our app and connect a custom domain to make it unique to your business. Now, let's style it, set up our custom domain, and hit publish. First, let's look at the styling options that Softr provides, so your app can look customized for your business. Now, if you struggle a bit with design, like choosing your fonts, understanding spacing and hierarchy, as well as picking out colors that are cohesive, I'll leave a link to several different resources in the comment section below that can really help you out. So as you can see here, my app looks a bit, well, generic. I want to update it to reflect my business and branding. So we do this by adding fonts, colors, borders, drop shadows, and more. Now, the first thing that I like to do is to pull out a quick note and write down the following styles: your heading, the heading weight, the heading color, your body, body weight, body color, as well as your buttons, text color, background color, and I leave space for a border color and drop shadow. Now, you may not know all of this yet, and that's okay, but it will help you as you build out the pages. So take a second and try to collect what you can and leave the rest blank like I've done so here. And let's dive in. So with Softr, you have theme-based styles that are located in the theme panel over here. You also have individual block styles, which can be found as you click into individual blocks and head over to the Styles tab. You also have individual item styles, which can be found on individual items, such as this image, for example, or this text found on this card. But let's dive into theme styles first. Theme styles allow you to set the default styles and colors for all of the building blocks. And then you can customize each block separately if you need to. So it's a good idea to start under the theme panel. So let me pull up my styles that I have for this fictitious employee portal. Now, first I forgot to put my base font for typography. 16 is usually a pretty good one to go with if you are unsure what this means. So I'm gonna leave it at 16. As a note, Softr currently provides Google Fonts natively. If you have typography that's not a Google font, then you will need to use some custom coding to upload it to your app, which I can add a snippet for that also in the show notes of this video. So for us though, we're gonna keep it simple. My font is Azure Mono, which is of course a Google font. So I'm gonna head over to heading. I can just search for it here, Azure Mono, perfect. I have my weight set to bold and I have my heading color here. So let me do bold here. I can copy and paste the color here. Perfect, it's actually already set to that. In addition, I have my body set to enter, which is actually already set. Body weight is light and the color is 383B3D. Great. Additionally, I have the roundness on my buttons set to large. As you can see here, small, medium, large. And the text color is a version of black, which I will add here, and the background color. Cool. I'm gonna leave the website width to fixed width for now. And let's hit save. Great. As you can see, things have already started to update. Now that we have our basic theme styles set, let's look at individual block level styles, starting with the list block. Block level styles allow you to essentially style the container or block that the content sits in. You can style the block itself by heading to the Style tab found here. Now, each block will have its own set of settings, but typically this is where you can change the background color of the block. So this is where writing down your hex codes come in handy. So I added my background color of the site. Let me copy and paste it here. Cool. So as you can see, the block background changed. In addition, you can add borders to the block, but I'm gonna remove those for now. Now, let's just take a quick look at what this looks like. Nice, so I've updated the background color. Now, let's say like I wanna update the individual cards here. Maybe I wanna add a little bit of a drop shadow to make it look nice and modern and maybe change the color of these tags here. This is where individual item styling comes into handy. So to do this, I'm gonna head to the Features tab, then I'm gonna scroll down to Item Fields. Now, as you can see here, if we hover over any of these items, there are 3 dots that prompts you to be able to style these items individually. So I can style my photo, the name, the job title, etc. Now, if we want to style the card itself, we're going to go to Item Fields, hover over,
and here are all of your options. So we can add padding to the left or the right, which I will add a lot just so you can see it. Pretty cool. In addition, you can change the background color of the card. So let's do that. So we add a little bit of contrast between the background and the card. Maybe I'll just go here and make it white. Looking a little bit better. Additionally, you can change the border color of the individual cards here. Okay, I like this gray color here. You can also change the weight of the border. That's a lot. I'm gonna go back to 2. And you can change the roundness of the cards. That looks pretty cool. As well as the drop shadow. And lastly, you can change the hover state shadow. So when a user scrolls over the card, it indicates a hover state. So it's good to have the shadow and the hover state actually be a little bit different. I'm gonna have the shadow here and I'll keep the hover here. Okay, let's quickly look at what this looks like. Cool. Once you find list item styles that you like and want to remain consistent, this is where your note comes into handy. So you specifically want to keep track of your border color. We can do that by just simply clicking copy, and then I can paste it into here. And then you also want to keep track of your roundness and drop shadows. So for the drop shadow, I've chosen number 2. That's just how I indicate it myself because it's the second one from the left. Then I'm gonna also record the hover state, which I've chosen 3rd from the left. And then lastly, the roundness of the cards. I've chosen 3rd from the left. And then also back to the border color, let's add the type is solid and the amount is 2. Now this will come in handy because most Softr apps include several different list blocks. However, for the time being, the styles don't copy over. So if I were to go here, click the plus button and add another list block, you can see here the styles didn't copy over. So if you want your list blocks to be consistent, it's best practice to write this down. However, additionally, another hack you can do is use the copy to function. Copy to is a handy little tool that allows you to essentially copy different blocks either to other apps within your Softr account or within the one you're working in itself. So let's say like I want to create another list block that's identical to this one, but maybe just shows different information. I would go copy to employee portal. I need to remember this is the employee page. And there it is. You just need to make sure that you reconfigure your data and features here if you want to pull different information. So that's a handy hack for you to keep things consistent. However, I still like to keep track of what all my styles are in a note for consistency's sake. Now let's update one individual item styling before I hand it over to you to begin editing and styling your app. So let's say like we want to edit the tag here. So I'm gonna click into the block that contains the tag. Can you guess where we're gonna go? Features, and then choose the field that you wanna edit, which is the job title tag. So I'm gonna hover over here, 3 dots, click style. So let's say like I wanna change the background color and the text of the tag to something that pops a little bit more. So I actually went ahead and chose the background color. So I'm gonna copy and paste it here into background color. Okay, and then I wanna go up and change the text color to something that has a little bit better contrast. Let's take a quick look, zoom it in. Great, let's also change the border color really quickly to be consistent. Okay, great. So what I suggest that you do is first write down all of your styling. You can use some of the resources linked below this video as a guide. Then once you have your site styles picked out, start with the home page and go block by block to consistently update images, text, background images, fonts, and colors. And don't forget about your headers. So go ahead and pause the video and then we'll go to connecting your domain once you've styled your app.
Now, the last step is connecting your domain and then pushing your app live. Your application can be published on a subdomain that's automatically provided by Softr, or custom subdomains, or your own custom domain. Let's quickly walk through what this looks like.
Okay, now I'm in my recently styled application. Let's take a look at the domain options. So a subdomain gets assigned to your application by default, right after you create the application upon logging in. So here you can see young945.softr.app. If I hit publish, this will be a working subdomain that you can use and share with people. But maybe that doesn't look as professional as you were hoping. So let's explore how to set up a custom domain. You can access the custom domain panel by either clicking here, or you can go into settings, custom domain. So first you want to make sure you have a domain name chosen and purchased. For this example project, I purchased a domain under namecheap.com. Next, once you purchase the domain, you want to add it here. So the domain that I purchased is www.parksandrecemployees.com. Then you'll click add domain. Next, Softr prompts us to visit the admin console of our domain registrar and create the following DNS records as specified below. So we need to add an A record as well as a CNAME record. So navigate to your DNS settings for your domain. First, we're gonna add a new record. The record type is A record, and then we're gonna switch back over. The host is gonna be @ and the value, we can copy and paste this. Cool, I'm gonna hit check mark. So just know that this might look different depending upon who your domain registrar is, but the fundamentals stay the same. Additionally, we need to add a CNAME record. So add new record, find CNAME. The host is www, and the target is parksandrecemployees.com. All right.
Note that DNS changes may take some time for your A records to propagate. If you still run into any other issues with domain verification, we recommend you reach out to your DNS provider to make sure the records are set up properly. If your domain is not working after 48 hours, contact your domain provider for support. If you find out your DNS settings are set up correctly, you can reach out to our support team for help. And that's a wrap. We made it through the Getting Started with Softr series. In this series, you've covered the basics of Softr and you've set up your first application. This included connecting your data source, visualizing it as a list, setting up your users, creating a sign in and sign up password page, and you properly set up your app visibility and user groups and permissions. And you've styled it and connected the domain. Voila. Now, there are several more features that allow you to take your Softr app to the next level, allowing for greater customization and flexibility. We are going to continue on that in future videos, building upon what you've learned here. These videos will be a bit more bite-sized and actionable, allowing you to grab what you need as you continue to build out your Softr app. But for now, we have a basic app created all in about under an hour. Way to go. We would love if you could share with us what you've created. Tweet at us on social media or join our community forum and show us what you've built there. Again, we'll add links to all of this in the comment section below. Thanks so much for your time, and we'll see you in future videos.